Trae Young exiting the arena.
Rayford Trae Young, born September 19, 1998. From the moment Trae Young entered the league, the talent was undeniable. The shots, the vision, the confidence, all of it translated instantly. What never translated was a real plan around him. Atlanta leaned on his brilliance to mask poor decisions, half-built rosters, and constant resets. As long as Trae could keep them afloat, nothing truly changed. Years passed, the burden stayed, and the window quietly narrowed. Now he's starting over, not because he failed, but because time ran out. Not on his career, but a strong part of his prime years, now traded to a Wizard team that may be in a worse if not similar situation as the Hawks competitively. What happened? Let's talk about it. Salute to I am Chris on IG for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Trae Young is a 6'1" point guard from Lubbock, Texas, who entered the league carrying uncommon offensive responsibility from day one. In high school, he was a top 5 rated point guard and McDonald's All-American who later committed to Oklahoma. At Oklahoma, he wasn't just productive, he was the system. He led the nation in both scoring and assists, regularly pulling defenses past their breaking point with deep range and advanced vision. That season wasn't about efficiency debates or team success as much as it was about proof his game worked against elite competition. Drafted 5th overall in 2018 by the Atlanta Hawks, Trae arrived to a franchise fully committed to a rebuild. Early losses were expected, but the development path was clear. Give him the ball, let him learn through mistakes, and build forward. By his second season, the numbers were already star level. By his third, the league had adjusted, and so had he. Defensive schemes changed, pressure increased, and Trae responded by becoming a more patient playmaker without losing his scoring threat. The peak came fast. In 2021, Atlanta surged to the Eastern Conference Finals, knocking off higher-seeded teams and turning Trae into a postseason villain on the road. It felt like a launching point. Instead, it became the reference point everything else was measured against. Injuries, roster turnover, and uneven development followed, but the expectations never reset. Trae entered his prime with the franchise still deciding what it wanted to be, and from there, the gap between his growth and Atlanta's direction only widened. Stunt number 1, the run that lied. The 2021 playoff run changed everything, and that was the problem. When Trae Young led the Atlanta Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals, it felt like a rival. A young star silencing crowds, waving goodbye, torching defenses that knew exactly what was coming and still couldn't stop it. From the inside, it created a dangerous illusion. That team caught lightning. They were healthy at the right time, confident at the right moment, and playing free with nothing to lose. Trae was elite, controlling pace, bending coverages, and closing games with poise that suggested this was just the beginning. But instead of treating that run as a chance to accelerate the rebuild, Atlanta treated it like proof the rebuild was already finished. That distinction mattered. The front office didn't respond with urgency, there was no aggressive search for elite help, and no clear push to maximize Trae's window while he was still early in his prime. Instead, they leaned into continuity. They paid role players, they trusted internal growth, and they assumed internal improvement would keep pace with Trae's rapid ascent. As defenses adjusted league-wide, the burden on Trae grew heavier. He was asked to generate offense late into games and seasons, with spacing that fluctuated and secondary creation that came and went. When the Hawks stalled in the following years, the conversation quietly flipped. The same run that once elevated Trae became the standard he was expected to reach again, regardless of roster context. The Eastern Conference Finals became less a foundation and more of a measuring stick used against him. If Atlanta didn't get back there, it wasn't framed as incomplete team building, it became a question about Trae. Could he lead a contender? Was his style sustainable? Was he too ball dominant? Those questions missed the real issue. That run masked how fragile the situation was. Instead of being the start of something reinforced, it became the peak of something never fully built. Atlanta didn't capitalize when belief was highest and options were widest. And from that point on, Trae's prime kept moving faster than the structure around him.
I mean, it was good and bad. You know what I'm saying? The combination just didn't work.
Stunt number 2, the Murray gamble exposed the confusion. After the Eastern Conference Finals run faded into the rearview, Atlanta reached a crossroads. They could either reshape the roster with clarity or react to noise. What followed was the clearest sign that the franchise wasn't aligned with Trae Young or itself. The trade for DeJounte Murray was supposed to change everything. On paper it made sense, not to me ever, but clearly to the team. Add another ball handler, ease Trae's load, improve defense, and raise the team's floor. In reality, it revealed how unsure Atlanta was about Trae's role. Instead of building around his strengths, they tried to offset him. Murray wasn't acquired to complement Trae in my opinion. He was acquired to protect the team from Trae's perceived limitations. Two guards who needed the ball, two different tempos, two different ideas of control. Rather than solving problems, the pairing created new ones. Possessions felt disjointed, late-game roles were unclear, and offensive rhythm came and went depending on who initiated. Instead of simplifying the game for their star, Atlanta complicated it. What made the situation worse was the cost. Multiple first-round picks were moved for a player who wasn't a natural fit, shrinking flexibility at the exact moment flexibility mattered most. That meant fewer options to chase elite frontcourt help, fewer ways to balance the roster, and less margin if things didn't click, and they didn't. Rather than taking pressure off Trae, the move shifted blame onto him. When the pairing struggled, the narrative turned personal. Was Trae hard to play with? Did he dominate the ball too much? Or could he coexist with another star? Those questions ignored the larger issue. Atlanta had constructed a roster without a clear offensive identity. Instead of committing fully to Trae as the engine and building decisively around that reality, the front office hedged. Murray's presence symbolized doubt more than belief, and when teams doubt their star, everything becomes fragile. Chemistry, trust, and direction. The Murray experiment didn't fail because Trae couldn't adapt. It failed because Atlanta tried to fix uncertainty with compromise. Rather than clarifying the path forward, they split it in two, and in doing so, they lost time, assets, and momentum, all while Trae's prime kept ticking forward without a real foundation underneath it. Stunt number 3, drafting duds closed the window. The real damage to Trae Young's prime didn't come from one bad season or one bad trade. It came from years of missed drafts. While Trae was producing like a franchise star, Atlanta consistently failed to turn premium picks into players who could actually grow with him. That disconnect slowly shut the window. The Hawks had multiple chances to land a real running mate. Instead, they kept drafting players who topped out as rotation pieces. DeAndre Hunter was taken 4th overall and never became the two-way wing centerpiece he was projected to be. Cam Reddish flashed talent but never stabilized. Oni Okongwu developed into a serviceable big but never someone who warps playoff defenses. Even John Collins, their best hit, peaked early and plateaued. None became all-stars, and none consistently took pressure off Trae when games slowed down. Then came the pick that ended any remaining doubt. Using the number 1 overall pick, Atlanta selected Zachary Risachet, hoping he could finally become the wing Trae had never been given. But Zachary wasn't a rookie learning on the fly, he was already supposed to be ascending. Instead, his role stagnated, his production regressed, and his impact never grew beyond low-usage minutes. Efficiency dipped, aggression never arrived, and for a top pick, the lack of progression was impossible to ignore. That's what made it the final straw. This wasn't a young player needing patience, it was another high-valued pick failing to align with Trae's timeline. And when reports surfaced that Atlanta was already open to moving Risachet, it said everything about how the organization viewed its own mistake. If Zachary had taken a leap, even a modest one, Trae's Atlanta story looks different. A real wing threat changes spacing, changes late-game options, and changes belief. Instead, the Hawks once again found themselves with a developmental piece while their star was already in his prime. By then, the decision was made long before the trade call. Atlanta didn't lose Trae because of one move. They lost him because year after year, the draft never delivered the urgency his greatness required. All in all, the milk has already spilled, so there's no crying now. Trae Young is gone. Atlanta lost the one player who kept them relevant, competitive, and visible year after year. Whatever criticisms followed him, the reality is simple. He carried a franchise that never fully carried him back. Without Trae, the Atlanta Hawks aren't pivoting, they're starting over. For Trae, the move is less about escape and more about survival. The stop with the Washington Wizards isn't a solution, but it does reset expectations. No more pretending a window is open when it isn't. What comes next will define how his prime is remembered, whether this is a pause before something real or the moment circumstance finally wins. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth is currently being stunted. Free my boy Trae Young, man, one of the most underrated players of all time. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.